The Government of National Unity, GNU, was not a surprise. It was a calculated move. White monopoly capital allegedly funded Cyril Ramaphosa to secure victory at the ANC conference. As the saying goes, there's no such thing as a free lunch. In 2019, journalist Piet Rampedi wrote an article predicting the formation of the GNU, explicitly excluding the EFF. His prediction proved accurate. However, that same article led to his targeting with the controversial 10 Babies story, though that's a topic for another time. Returning to the GNU, it appears that ANC supporters and general members were the only ones unaware of the ANC's alignment with the DA. White monopoly capital is perceived to be steering South Africa's direction. This will be followed by a reading of Piet Rampedi's article. Nearly everything Piet Rampedi predicted is coming to pass. I was reminded of his article when Mcebo Dlamini echoed Rampedi's claims during an interview with DJ Sbu. Rampedi wasn't a prophet. He had access to insider information. Cyril Ramaphosa's plot to kill the ANC. Piet Mahasha Rampedi published 5 years ago, 2019. Some senior ANC leaders have accused President Cyril Ramaphosa of working with external parties to collapse the governing party and replace it with a center-right coalition led by him after the 2024 general elections. They claim the president and his business allies were going out of their way to privatize state-owned enterprises and destroy black-owned companies funded by the Public Investment Corporation, PC, as part of a bigger plot to turn voters against the ANC in favor of a coalition of almost all opposition parties except Julius Malima's EFF. This comes as the government this week placed cash-strapped national carrier SAA under business rescue. For ANC, National Executive Committee, NEC, members told the Sunday Independent that the party's top 6 officials confronted Ramaphosa at a meeting 2 weeks ago about his alleged negative attitude towards black-owned companies and the use of the PIC to destroy them. ANC national spokesperson Piet Rampedi and Treasurer General Paul Mashadile did not respond to requests for comment. Ramaphosa's spokesperson, Kusila Diko, referred all queries to the ANC. I do not speak on ANC matters. Please may I request that you speak to the ANC spokesperson, she said. Zolani Dubey, a political analyst at the Zubra Institute, said he was aware of murmurings within the ANC about Ramaphosa allegedly working with outsiders to collapse the governing party. He said the root of unhappiness with Ramaphosa's presidency within his own party was a perception that he ruled at the behest of the mining energy complex, a clique of powerful and wealthy families in the country, including the Oppenheimers and the Ruperts. It's not even a center-right, but a right-wing coalition, Dubey said. Remember, there was that plan of 2017 where the ruling elites wanted the EFF and all the opposition parties to form the government of coalition. They tested that model in Tshwane, Nelson Mandela Bay, and Johannesburg, and they noticed that this coalition was not working for them because the decisions were not made quicker. And there is so much confusion, he said. The sources claimed that the plan to kill the ANC entailed the following: sign all long-term Eskom, SAA, and Transnet contracts this year or by early next year. Sell off-state assets to pre-selected private partners. Put SAA into business rescue and eventually terminate all its contracts. Sell SAA to either Etihad Airways or a European airline. Take control of key development finance institutions such as the National Empowerment Fund, NEF, the Development Bank of Southern Africa, DBSA, and the Industrial Development Corporation, IDC. Through allies to redirect funds. Starve the ANC of resources by not awarding state contracts to black businesspersons who are its main funders. Charge or use state institutions to investigate political opponents to keep them busy with criminal cases and subsequently to financially constrain them. Elevate Ramaphosa above the ANC so that if the ANC lost support, he could emerge as the undisputed leader of a center-right coalition of opposition parties, excluding the EFF after the 2024 general elections. Destroy independent media and the Public Protector's Office. Take full control of the media and drive a single and positive narrative about the country and its leaders. and make sure there is no mass-based movement that can challenge the new hegemony. A senior ANC leader, who supported Ramaphosa at Nasrec, accused the president's business allies of pushing him to adopt economic policies that were opposed to those of the governing party. "We are selling everything now. By the time we wake up, we would have nothing to show as a country. We will have only Lutuli House," said the NEC member. Another NEC member claimed he was lied to about the economic trajectory. They denied that they planned to sell any SOE. Now, they want to destroy Independent and the Public Protector because they have shattered the myth of CR as a corruption buster and his New Dawn administration as the fighters of state capture. ANC sources said Mashatile led the charge against Ramaphosa at a meeting of the party's top 6 officials a fortnight ago. He was supported by Deputy President David Mabuza, Secretary General Ace Magashule, and his deputy, Jesse Duarte. They added, Chairperson Guide Mantash is said to have defended Ramaphosa, saying it was unfair to accuse him of using the PIC to destroy black-owned companies because the asset manager had its board and managers who operated independently. Paul is the one who raised the issue, saying the president needed to explain to the top 6 what was happening because there was a view out there that he has a negative attitude towards black businesses and that he used the PIC to destroy them. The president said he was not involved with PIC matters at all. Ace, DD, and Jesse supported Paul, while Guide came to the president's defense, said the source. In recent weeks, Magashule and Duarte have been critical of the PIC publicly. Last week, Magashule lambasted the PC, saying in an opinion piece that there was more to its spurious liquidation application against Sekunjalo Independent Media than meets the eye, because it made very little effort to tackle companies like Steinhoff, which costed billions. 2 weeks ago, Duarte accused the government's asset manager of targeting Sekunjalo. On Thursday, SAA appointed business advisor and turnaround specialist Les Madison as its business rescue practitioner. It received $4 billion from the government after filing for voluntary business rescue, which is an insolvency protection mechanism. Public Enterprises Minister Praveen Gordhan said existing lenders would provide R2BN while National Treasury would cover the balance. It must be clear that this is not a bailout. This is the provision of financial assistance in order to facilitate a radical restructure of the airline, Gordhan added. Weighing in on the government's decision to place SAA under business rescue, Malema this week accused Ramaphosa of trying to sell the public's assets to his friends. Every little thing that we have as South Africans, which we are proud of, this man is going to sell them to his white friends, and that will be his legacy, Malema said on Gauteng talk radio station Power FM, adding that other SOEs like Eskom, Denel, and Airport Company South Africa, AXA, awaited the same fate. WITS economics professor Chris Molly-Kane said the government's decision to put SAA under business rescue and privatization in general was unlikely to yield positive results because it was a superficial way of dealing with the problem. But the big thing that needs to be done is to unwind the contracts that have locked SAA to an unsustainable financial situation and to review the country's aviation policy to ensure that SAA as a national carrier occupies a national space and a national market for it to be sustainable, Molly-Kane said, adding that government officials must also be compelled to use SAA. The Sunday Independent.
A necessary distraction. It was a distraction that we needed as black people. Because you could already see where the country was moving and the leadership of the main political party was moving. In that they were, with impunity taking us to the hands of the DA and white people.
Yeah.
Because the funders of the most of the ANC leaders are the same funders as that one of the DA. So the funders then had a clear mandate that these things must come together. You could hear before even the elections, your Fikile Mbalulas and many of them were already talking about a DA coalition before the GNU. They were already weighing options. Who are they going to go with to the coalition? Because they already believed that they are going to lose the elections. The media, the white monopoly capital media, made sure, because they sell a narrative up until you believe it.
Yeah, they even called the EFF MK-ANC coalition, potential coalition, a doomsday.
You see, so they sell this narrative up until the ANC believed that they were going to lose the elections. And then they had to now start talking coalition. It was started by the white monopoly capital media. Up until the ANC started talking, who's this chap? There's this fellow of the veterans who's leading the veterans in the ANC. He's leading the very useless fellow. I think he was a sellout. When you listen to his position, it's really shocking. Those are the people who unashamedly, support and side with whiteness, with Ramaphosas Msimang. I wish people can come and tell us what he was doing in exile, because some of the things that these people are doing, they're not starting it today. They were like this even when they were young. You can't start new tricks that you never did when you were young. So this sellout position, it means it was there even during the liberation struggles. I am saying that because these are people who have been unashamedly calling for the DA coalition way before the elections. They were already started the engagement that the ANC must go into coalition with the DA when the EFF and other black parties were there.
Relations between the ANC and the DA are frosty as the honeymoon phase of the Government of National Unity has lapsed. ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula, just like Gauteng Provincial Chairperson Panyazo Lesufi, has had it with Helen Zilla's remarks on the ANC and its president. Zilla claimed that President Cyril Ramaphosa is at the mercy of the DA against the EFF and MK due to an instruction from business. The ANC Secretary General, seething with anger, didn't take kind to Zilla's words.
We need to make it very clear. If the DA want to leave the GNU, it's their call. They can leave tonight, they can leave tomorrow. Anytime they want to leave or they wish to leave, they can go. This divisive narrative lacks both historical truth and relevance.
In the tripartite alliance, all is not well, with the ANC and the SACP at loggerheads. Fikile Mbalula has taken exception to the perceived personal attacks on the ANC leadership by SACP General Secretary Soli Mapaila.
It boils down to personal attacks perpetually, which are very much worrisome. That's not how revolutionaries must approach each other and debate issues. We respect the right of the SACP in the context of the democratic debate in the alliance and our movement to engage openly and robustly on matters. And we look forward to this engagement with the SACP and other members of the tripartite alliance.
The ANC and the SACP will in the coming weeks hold a bilateral meeting to iron out differences on the Government of National Unity, which the SACP sees as a sell-out arrangement. Samkele Masego, SABC News, Johannesburg.
That's a wrap, folks. But before you go, keep this in mind. Their smoke and mirrors are just theatrics, pulling your focus from what truly matters. The real fight? It's always been about the land and the economy. Stay sharp, stay woke, and we'll catch you next time.
The most important person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs.